How's it going, witches, wizards, muggles, and no mages? Hogwarts Legacy just put out a new trailer last week at Gamescom, and with it we saw a handful of new wands that we'll be seeing in the game. With so many different options being shown off throughout all the different trailers, it definitely seems like we'll be able to have our own custom wand. Whether or not we get to personally customize it is a completely different question, but without adding any more rambling, let's go ahead and get into it. A little while back, I put out a video covering all the wands we've seen so far in Hogwarts Legacy, and it was one of the most popular videos on my channel. So I figured I'd do a little updated version of that and show off the new wands we see in the latest trailer, re-show the old wands but cut out some of the duplicates that I showed in the other video, and take a look at the wand that's going to be in the collector's edition and talk about my theory on how that might tie into the game. So stick around for that, it's gonna be pretty juicy. Also, if anybody at Warner Brothers is listening and want to help a guy out by setting aside one of those collector's editions, I would be eternally grateful. Anyway, go ahead and stupefy that like button and we'll go ahead and get straight into the trailer. The first time we see a wand is here at the 7-second mark, and if we zoom in, we can see that even from far away, they use the same wand model for the close-up a couple seconds later. I know a lot of times in video games, they'll swap out an item for a much simpler version of it from a distance when you can't really notice a difference anyway, so good on them for keeping it in there like it is, and also maybe it's just easier to not swap it out at all. In this scene, with the two walking into the creepy looking cave, we see both their wands. Sadly, we don't really get a good look at either of them. The person on the right's wand looks pretty basic, and the one on the left we can see a little bit more detail on if we zoom in, but it doesn't really look like the one we saw outside the cave. In fact, it looks more like the wand I referred to as the default wand in my last video covering this topic. Practically everyone in the state of play had the same wand. Sebastian, the main character. Even in the original trailer from a couple of years back, these two guys had practically the same exact wand, although one was a little bit lighter than the other. One of the best looks we get of the default wand is in the opening scene of the state of play. The way it tapers and notches is pretty distinct, and you can see the same pattern practically every time a wand appears in the entire 17-minute video. That being said though, there are a couple different wands in the state of play. It seems that all the professors, bad guys, and adults seem to have their own slightly personalized wands. Professor Fig has a wand that looks like a thicker version of the default wand. It has all the same notches and tapers as the original, but the handle is slightly wider. The herbology teacher, not sure if her name has been announced yet. I think it has. Let me know in the comments if you know though. Her wand has a big orange crystal or something at the bottom of it, making it significantly more unique than the others in the state of play. The only other person who I noticed had a crystal on it was this guy, Rookwood. His wand looks like the default wand, but with an orange crystal tacked onto the bottom of it as well. So it's good to see that they're mixing the wands up, literally, just putting pieces of one onto another. I'm sure that's a good way for the developers to add a lot of variety without having to add a whole bunch of extra work for themselves. He's not the only bad guy with a unique wand though. In the state of play, the bad guy with the skull mask and furry jacket had a scene where in one frame, his wand wasn't connected to his hand. In this shot, we can see that it's a little bit thicker in the middle, although in the shot immediately following, it's got notches that make it look like a default wand. However, in the trailer we got from Gamescom, we got another look at the same bad guy and his wand again has that thicker look in the middle. So it seems like some wands have been loosely set in stone for a while, which is fine by me. One wand that did change though between the state of play and the newest trailer was what I'm assuming is the Gameskeeper at Hogwarts. In the state of play, when he destroys Sebastian's Shrivel Fig, it looks like it's just a thick default wand, but in this new trailer, it looks much different. It's definitely shorter and it's got some new notches here. It's kind of giving off some mini Elder Wand vibes with the whole lumpy thing going on. Sadly, that's the only angle we get of his new wand, but in the same scene, we get a somewhat decent shot of Sebastian's wand, and it still looks like the same default wand from before, so it kind of seems like that's what his wand will be in the game. The next wand I want to cover isn't one from the trailer, but from the collector's edition set. Now, I'm not going to lie, this wand, kind of ugly. If you don't know already, it comes with this big fake book, and thanks to the power of electromagnets, the wand will float above it. The wand itself looks like it's wrapped in some sort of metal. Maybe it's supposed to be goblin made, maybe it's supposed to be imbued with ancient magic. Either way though, I have a theory about it. I think this could be our wand in the game, or one of our wands. First, I just want to say that I think this book is the same one we see Professor Fig with at the end of the state of play, but I think we go with him to get the book at the beginning of the game. I say it's the beginning of the game since we're still wearing the same clothes as we are in the carriage on the way to Hogwarts. There was a leak at one point that said we were thought to be a squib before coming to Hogwarts. Well, what if our dramatic entry to the school is because we found this wand that's got all sorts of ancient magic wrapped up in it, and this wand gives us the power to control that ancient magic, and at the same time lets us use regular magic too. Then Professor Fig catches wind of what's happened, comes and fetches us, and takes us on an adventure before school even starts to go and find the matching book of ancient magic. There's also a theory that Professor Fig dies kind of early in the story as well, so if this turns out to be true, it would also fit with that. Not sure if this is all a little bit far-fetched, but it's fun to think about either way. Real quick, I just want to talk about my next giveaway. I'll be giving away a copy of Hogwarts Legacy to someone when the game comes out. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed and leave a comment on any of my videos between now and February 7th. I'm gonna pick someone who is active in the community here, so the more frequently I see your name in the comments, the sooner you start commenting, the more likely you are to win. But that's all I've got for you today. I will catch you next time, nerds.